Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Magic and Miracles, where you learn how to be the magician of your life. My name is Anna, and I created Magic and Miracles for people of all walks of life to be able to achieve their manifestation goals. True story. All the information from me is below. If you'd like to be in coaching with me, please understand that the first thing to do is to book a 1 hour session in which we converse. We rendezvous for the sole purpose of first making sure that we're a good match together, and also how I can be of help to you. And the majority of the session, I ask a lot of questions in order to assess the situation, what's been going on, what are the current sort of complaints and the things that you need to work out. And I definitely give you feedback. I definitely give you a strategy, an action plan towards something that you can implement in the most immediate future. All right. But upon conclusion of this session, if we both decide to proceed, you need to absolutely pre-book the signature coaching package. And the reason that's important is because there's only so many people that I can accommodate in my coaching at the same time. And so by pre-booking, well, first of all, you're demonstrating that you're serious about this relationship, but also you're putting yourself on the list to be next in line. So if at that moment in time there isn't an availability, you will be the next person who's going to join once the person completes. Now, it usually isn't that long of a wait. However, again, it's very, very useful, and it's mandatory, in fact, for you to book if you want to be next in line. And I would not wait with these things. People are always coming and going. And like I said, this is the best thing to do. Now, I recommend 2 to 3 months in coaching with me for the full assessment, for the full work, for the full implementation of all the tools that I'm going to give you that you simply aren't going to get anywhere else. Okay. My coaching is very thorough. I take pride in it being this thorough, because after me, you will not need another coach. This I can guarantee. If you just follow the yellow brick road of my guidance, you will succeed. Don't rebuttal me. In that sense, respect your coach. I mean, that's kind of obvious. There is a coaching agreement you need to sign. All those rules have to be, abided by. Very reasonable coaching agreement. You need to sign that coaching agreement by hand, print your name, print the date, and even for the first session, have that before we rendezvous. Now, all the coaching sessions are recorded in my coaching via a phone or via Zoom. Usually it's via Zoom. Even if you don't prefer to be on camera, that's okay as well. But everything's recorded for posterity, for my notes, to be able to help you best. I do analyze the session each and every single time. I re-listen to it, some parts more than once, especially if I'm just getting to know you. And everything is interesting to me about you. I'm deeply fascinated by this work. And I love my work because it truly helps if you approach it with this diligence, with this detail-oriented approach. There is no other word that I can think of. Sorry if I'm repeating myself. Because it really gives me the roadmap of what I need to help you fix. Your blueprint right now is not what it should be. Okay, somewhere along the way, somebody convinced you that you're less than. It isn't reality. So my job is to, in fact, bring you over to the original blueprint, is what I call it, of the golden Buddha. The ideal version of you that truly belongs to be here, and in your consciousness needs to be living out this magnificent and magnetic lifestyle. All right, so this is in short what I do in coaching. There are other packages down below. There's a book club if you want to receive coaching material audios. Okay, this is upgraded now. Starting October 1st, it's going to be at 200 because it's just developed itself into a different package. On this channel, I'm very inspired to record audios again, to pick one topic. And right now I'm going to record part 2 of the audio that I recorded yesterday. And there are other various packages. One of the packages that I highly recommend is the signature energy course, which is unparalleled. If you really learn energy work, which I do teach in coaching one-on-one, you will be unparalleled in manifestation. You will completely understand how truly easy it is, but you cannot really achieve the heights unless you have somewhat processed your mama drama panorama, as I call it. This is mandatory, and you will understand why. But if you feel that you have somewhat processed it, or you at the very least somewhere along the way of doing that, Signature Energy course is by far the best course I've ever recorded. It addresses every situation, SP, money, career, circumstances, how to basically get your way every single time. It addresses magic spells, the scripting. It is a gem of a package, and the curriculum is on my website's description of the package. You can take a look. And additionally, I want to remind everybody, this Saturday we're having a group coaching on how to write a magic spell, okay, on your SP, on whomever or whatever. This is going to be about an hour long, right before the live on Saturday. And this is your opportunity to get introduced into my coaching, to obviously learn how to create a magic spell, which is not witchcraft. It's just symbolic name for a really powerful intention. Again, how to get your way. So this will be an introductory session for you, again, to see me in the coaching setting, but also to sample again the energy work. So I know a lot of people really want to know how to fix their lives, how to get their SPs back. So I'm kind of, creating these things to accommodate the interest. So book that right away because the seating is limited. 7 people max. I would prefer 5 people, actually, to be quite honest, because people, I want for everybody to be able to ask questions. In the Signature Energy course, there is no interaction with me, so this will be very beneficial for you. If you have any questions, by all means, please reach out to me. The email is below. So I apologize, this is such a long intro, but I feel like people are still getting to know me. This is a new channel, my predecessor channel, the link is below. So I want to make sure that I explain everything. So we're going to continue the discussion as I'm really inspired to do so. And I channel all of my recordings, I channel in coaching. And what I'm really inspired to talk about again is how to telepathically affect your SP. Okay, so I kind of set the premise in the first audio about how your energy, your own energy, is what everything is made out of. Okay, and how perhaps it's not that you're not powerful, is that where are you using your power? So we discussed that. So, but now let's fast forward in time, if you will, fast forward in energy and timeline, and let's just pretend that you're there. Okay, that again, that somewhat you've processed it, you feel lighter. You no longer feel like this person who, again, somebody convinced you of, diehard convinced you. Because I get people who resonate towards my story all the time. And those who know me, they know that I grew up in a household with a narcissistic mother, like a really malicious, crazy person, as narcissists tend to be. They're varying degrees of that, but, she was really just bananas. And so you may have somebody like that. And I get people a lot, as I said, in coaching, who have had a narcissistic parent who went out of their way to convince you that you're not all that you shouldn't think of yourself highly. In fact, you're worthless. And, I'm choosing words very carefully here because I'm sure you got told a lot worse. Okay. And that really sunk deep within you, because that's what really happens with a child. They absorb everything around them and they don't question it. I mean, especially if it comes from a fucking parent, an authority figure like that, that shit stays with you. So this is my work. If I'm being completely transparent, most of the time, 90% of the time in my coaching, the person, woman or man, is basically has been impacted by their parental behavior. It's very rare that it's something else. It's an outside person influencing them outside of the family, but 90% of the time it's the parent. So this takes a lot of unfucking to do for your mind, for the lack of better verbiage. But this is ultimately the road to freedom. The road to freedom from this fucking mentality, fucked up mentality, again, excuse the language, but it's just what it is, that wreaks havoc right now on your manifestations. That's a heavy duty fucking price to pay, parenthesis here, like huge parenthesis here. So this is actually what I help people to do. So while you might be thinking that, you need to hurry up and kind of like whip out your magic wand and start commanding and all of the stuff that I teach, like, really my purpose here is to make people understand none of this will happen. Your magic powers are dormant within you once you get rid of this mama drama panorama thinking. So the emphasis should entirely be on that, because you ain't going nowhere without it. But now let's fast forward and pretend. So you somewhat now kind of shoehorning yourself into your golden Buddha status, and you realizing you've been lied to all this time. Not only are you realizing, but now you're taking action. Again, in my coaching, people, they travel parallel timelines in my coaching. I help people quantum leap. How so? By processing emotions and getting rid of this junk. And so let's imagine again, you're somewhere on that trajectory, and here you are, superstar, feeling mighty groovy. So I'm going to describe the process without, again, getting into the coaching material of how actually simple this something is that you are so salivating for. And I want you, my purpose also here is for you to stop salivating after anybody or anything and realize once you have yourself dialed in, the world is yours, my darling. But it's always been yours. It was just waiting for you to realize that you're the hottest chick in the game or the hottest dude in the game. Okay, hottest chick in the universe. In your universe, you're the hottest chick. Period. The motherfucking end. In the guy's case, in your universe, you're also the hottest dude in the game. Okay, no questions asked. Whether you have a Ferrari right now or you don't matter. You are the hottest dude in the game. And so you're bringing in this energy of being ready to invite a new outcome. Right? So your magical gifts are ready to be employed, finally. And so even if you haven't heard of this person, heard from this person, I should say, in many years, let's just say, it's possible for them to reach out. Even if this person was lukewarm towards you, it's possible for them to suddenly go gaga for you. Even if this person was somewhat like ghosted you, or even was like not really kind towards you, not going into abuse, because that's the only exception I make, but unkind and maybe ghosted, not nice, essentially, not what you deserve. It is absolutely possible, yes, even years later, to turn this person around and yes, make them regret what they've done, make them apologize and really give you the world. Like, you may not want them then. That's another story, it happens sometimes in my coaching. Like, the SP comes back and they're so drooling all over them. I'm not making shit up. This is exactly what happens. And if you learn how to maneuver your own energy, you will get there. But they're no longer interested. My client is no longer interested. Now have their eyes set on a different height of a caliber of a person. So, but here's the process. You suddenly become enthralled with a new idea. I know you've been, just kidding, you've been obsessed over this person for months and for years. But suddenly you decide to be the golden Buddha. You're sitting there and you're saying, let me try this telepathy thing. All right. So first of all, you got to make a decision. All right. So let's just take the case of this person is lukewarm towards me, or they ghosted me, or there is no action coming from them. I'm going to start with this scenario first. All that you do is, in your mind, look for some kind of evidence of it having been already otherwise in the past. That's one of the ways. I have myriads of ways in coaching, and you look for something that, if you are upset currently, let's just say that, you haven't heard from them, they were ghosting you and this and that, you cannot start with this energy. You have to bring in a new kind of energy. And the new kind of energy will derive from the things that you actually appreciate about them. Maybe they're handsome. Maybe they're pretty. Maybe they have a nice smile. Okay, maybe there's a certain characteristic about their personality that you really love and adore. Like there's something about this person that is not clouded by right now your pissed offness. Okay, I would zero in on those qualities and then leave the other parts behind, like you literally being an engineer here. All right, this is how precise of a manifester you can become. And you start introducing other things. So you can borrow from other people. And I've discussed this in the Magic Spell Success Story in the very first live that I've had on this channel, where I've had two people in my past who gave me such magnificent treatment. I mean, there have been many, but I could think at that moment of the two top that came to mind were these men were just magnificent towards me. Just absolutely like nothing short of lick gem of my toes. Right. So one is a friend and another one was, a love interest. But nevertheless, it's that energy you're looking for. And now you're pasting this energy over this person. And I go in a lot deeper in coaching, and it's only possible to do this in coaching because every person is different again, and everybody will have different references. But again, you're imposing, quote unquote, on them something entirely different. In other words, you yourself, your heart has to vibrate differently. That's projecting a different idea onto their energy. Remember, they're very much connected to you. They're more connected to you than you will ever understand. They're a part of your consciousness. So once your consciousness switches to, I appreciate all these things about you, and here's how I feel about you. Now, you can start feeling even lust towards them, warm, fuzzy feelings of cozy kind of embrace or something. Whatever the tonality that you choose to necessarily like paste over them, it doesn't matter, depending on your mood, I suppose, or depending on what you want to kind of make them think. But decisions are necessary. No one's going to decide for you. So in other words, if my goal is, let's just say, to turn this person around from ghosted to proposal. By the way, on my other channel, I have a success story. I just remembered. There've been many like that, but the one that I shared, sometimes I'm not authorized to share because it's confidential. Everything's confidential in my coaching. And you can do that by starting to telepathically transmit thoughts of, and this is something, again, I'll go over in coaching with you. I'll guide you how to write it and all of that. But specifics, like I want them to turn around and propose to me. Do you know that you can achieve this in less than a month? I'm not exaggerating. Again, provided that the drama mama panorama has been, processed or at the very least, at the end of it, you will feel, how you need to feel to be ready. Like you're not ready if you're panicking right now, if you're devastated, if you're crying, if you're doubtful, all of these things, like that's what is job one to process. When you feel ready, you feel kind of like giddy, like a little kid. Ooh, let's see what can be done. And remember to always be benevolent. It's just what it is. It's the law of the universe. If you're not benevolent, if you start sending, you're already probably doing that in some form, but not maliciously, right? So you're probably doubting, or you're probably regretting some conversation, or you're probably beating yourself up, or, criticizing yourself, all of that. Remember that they hear those thoughts too. But when I say be benevolent, don't send them like revengeful thoughts or thoughts of, you know what I mean? Like that's only going to backfire on you. Don't wish anybody ill, even if the person's done you terribly wrong. I know it's very difficult. I've been through situations myself in my life. I know it's not easy, but you're going to have to work on that yourself and let it go. You're going to have to come to the table with nothing but ready to turn the page. I've had enough of this world where I don't get my way. I'm ready to get my way. I'm telling you how to get your way. You start vibrating towards this person, and you start thinking, every time you think of this person, you're transmitting in a very nonchalant way. Not like, I'm superimposing this feeling on you. No, not like that. It's just naturally, it has to kind of like float out of your heart. Like, I'm choosing to think of you like this now, darling. I'm choosing for you to be the nicest guy to me that I've ever encountered in my life. I'm choosing for you to be so gentle, so caring, so thoughtful. You're fucking breaking my phone with your fucking text messages. But not in a needy way, not in a way where you need to boost your ego or validate something or feel the hole that your parent didn't, the love that you didn't get from your parent. Not like that at all, darling. I feel like a lot of people, not for nothing, that's how they go about it, which is, I mean, not to be criticized. It's not that, not to be frowned upon. It's understandable. Understand, though, at the same time, you're not going to achieve your results that way because you're doing it in some weird fashion. You're trying to substitute something with something. It doesn't, you need to heal that wound first and then come off like, again, I'm playing like a kid in a candy store. Right? So when you're nonchalant like this and you start thinking thoughts of, oh my God, I know he wants to marry me. I know she wants to get married. I know she wants to have my children. Or I know that even a telepathic thought, let's just say if you don't have an SP, a telepathic thought of, I'm ready to meet my one and only. Just again, not out of desperation, but out of like, I'm in sync with this energy. I feel it myself. You understand? You have to feel it first. You have to be ready to think this way naturally, at least some of the time. Like I discuss very often, in the beginning, at the very least, 51%. That's how you gain control of the company. But ultimately, it is humanly possible to get to 90%. It is absolutely humanly possible. I do it every day. I wasn't always able to do this, but it was discipline and with practice, you can get to higher, 95 maybe. Right. But I allow myself to be human. I allow myself to experience other things. Also, because I'm a coach, quite frankly, I want to bring back to my clients the success stories of how I worked that out and how I worked this out. It's a lab to me, this experience on humanly earth that we occupy, at least in consciousness. But I digress. You have to yourself feel it. And this is how you're giving it to them. You're giving them your masterpiece vibrationally. These are my decisions, dear SP. This is my vibration. This is my energy. Now, here it is. You be part of it. But again, see, the words, they don't really necessarily serve you sometimes because they fail to explain how it works. You're naturally vibrating this energy. And so the people connected to you, and remember that your SP is very much connected to you because because you're thinking of them. They naturally receive this telepathic thought. But not like, think it right now, they just got that thought. They just got that thought. Like instantaneously, they got that thought. But the thing is, if you want it to make their nature, right? Right now, that's not their nature. That's not what you observe. If you want for them to take action, to see movement, you have to consistently feed the program the same situation, the same feeling, the same vibration. One time is just not enough, right? So like imagine a cup of muddy water and then you just dropped in one clear drop. What the fuck is that gonna do? It's not. You're going to have to drop enough clear water for the changeover to happen, if that makes any sense. Okay? You yourself are going to feel so in sync with this person. It's achievable within 30 days, as I said, okay, that you will know, like, so at first you start out by feeding them, right? Feeding them these thoughts, the intentions. You want to be married with me. You want to do whatever you want them to do. Okay, let's just take married, for example. You want to come to and apologize to me. You regret everything that you've said to me. That was uncalled for. You understand that, like, it, if you are convinced, everybody's convinced. If you are convinced, they are not only convinced, they're thinking that something right now. If you kind of lukewarm about it, they're lukewarm about it also. It's all like, if I'm asking you, how do you feel about your manifestation right now? That's exactly what your SP or what that sum of money feels about you right now. Oh, don't worry, money has feelings too. It dooby dooby doo. It does, it does, it does. So it's a replica, you see. So how easy then, though, right? All you have to do is convince yourself, and not through empty repetition, but through artistic art form, so to speak, of generating this energy on purpose. You know, like, you go to the piano. My favorite example is, you go to the piano, you start pressing keys. You know, you press this key and this sound will come out. You know that if you play the music of, I'm so in love with them and they're so in love with me, and that feels so amazing after all these years, you could say, or after all these months and all this time that I've been waiting and struggling and being depressed and feeling sorry for myself and all this kind of stuff. It wasn't a waste, but I was in a different world. And now I find myself here, and it feels like it should. Feels just like it should. You know this song by Jamiroquai? Feels just like it should. I'm coming out of da. Whatever, I can sing. I try. I'm a better songwriter than a singer, although I would love to have had a marvelous, potent voice. Anyway, moving right along. It feels just like it should. It feels like you're the golden Buddha. It feels like, yeah, fuck yeah, this is how they feel too. But again, not in like justification kind of feeling. Not in like, I got you, motherfucker. No. It's like you're enjoying, like, you know exactly what they're thinking, because first you feed the machine what you want it to think. Not that I just called your SPM machine, no. You feed the program first, okay? And then the machine responds in kind. And then it becomes a never-ending loop until you change the program again. But see, I mean, I'd rather you change the program like gradually so you can get used to it. I think it would be a little bit jarring going from ghosted to proposal, but you can start with a text message or whatnot. But it's so easy. The work is entirely on you, you see. I really just want you to see that. And if it's like, notice the difference, right? I'm waiting for them to reach out to me, as if somebody on the outside is going to make a decision to reach out to you. That's bullshit. You're going to make the decision for them. You're reaching out to me, but not like, hey, you. You're reaching out to me, okay? No, it's like, I think they're going to reach out to me because I'm feeling like this about them. And they can't talk themselves down wanting to talk to me. They want to hear my voice. But you see, this confidence, it comes from self-love. Like, duh, of course, everybody would love to be around me, but I choose this person to be the object of my attention, and for me to be the object of their attention. We don't need anybody else. But the thing is, I understand why they would. I don't need to force it. My thought alone produces this movement, okay, everybody's after. And the movement is so subtle, it's so elegant. It's like, I'm a magician. I'm a true magician of thought forms. And I'm sending this really beautiful piece of music, you could say, vibrational piece of music towards my SP's way. And I know that they will respond in kind if I just play the music long enough. And that's what telepathy truly is. And remember, I just want to underline this 300 million times. You're not doing it to get anything. You really are doing it because you've changed your mind. You've changed your mind. You want to definitely, deliberately change your mind about who this person is, what kind of a relationship you want to have with them. And you yourself in this process, you're enjoying the process. You're not forcing anybody to do anything. They will, of course, you want the result, but the result, it'll just flow into your experience so naturally, you will wonder where it has been all along. Thank you very much for listening. All information from me again is below. Until next time, ciao, ciao.